Okay, I did not think you guys were going to want me to do an episode on this because I don't really do a lot of tech talk, but you guys were asking me about AI and were telling me what is your view on it. And did some little research. Okay, I looked at a few Facebook groups like them. And I was like, AI seems to be like the grim reaper of our industry. Forums have you convinced? I swear they do. So this is the episode for you because the straight talking wench that is I, Khandie, is going to talk to you about how I feel about AI and maybe it'll resonate with you, quash some fears, and let's get started. One thing from the get-go, AI will not replace you, but I think your fear of it might. Your refusal to adapt, that's what's going to kill your business. Not a machine, not an algorithm, not an app, not some teenager creating AI generated portraits in the bedroom for 30 quid a pop. No. We're going to talk about what we call the elephant in the room, the editing room in this case, and let's talk about the fear about technology, the fear about creativity. Let's talk about what actually makes you feel irreplaceable and what actually doesn't make you irreplaceable. This is the Loud Lens where we don't sugarcoat and we sure as hell don't hide behind filters. I'm Khandie and I'm about to drag your mindset from 2020 and plonk it in today's reality. We're going to talk about AI and why it has you all shook. Are you shook-off? I don't know. Is that what the cool kids say? Shook-off? So let's break down why photographers are panicking about AI right now. And not just photographers, but I know, but this podcast is specifically photographers. Tools like Adobe Firefly, Topaz, Photo AI, the generative fill are doing things in seconds that used to take us hours. Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? I don't know. Clients are like, hey, can I get this done with an app? No, but maybe, but not as great. AI generated images are flooding social media, pulling in the likes by the truckload. And every single YouTuber, and I did look, was screaming. No, not every single YouTuber, I'm lying, but you know, a lot of them. This is the death of photography. Like it's the end of times and they're out there like doom prepping. I don't know. But there's the truth. AI isn't going anywhere, but neither is photography. What is going extinct? People who whinge about AI like it's going to be the end of them and making you replaceable. Your work is what needs to stand out, okay? And if your work looks like everyone else and you're relying on presets to do the heavy lifting and your brand is basically, no personality, I would get nervous. I mean, I'm not saying anyone's going to go, hey, Khandie, I absolutely love my brand. It's got no personality. But I'm saying is that if you're not standing out in some way, you might need to be a little squeaky bum about AI. But if you have a unique point of view, a story, a voice, whatever, AI ain't going to touch you, boo. You're going to be still good. You're still going to have your business here. And this is what AI can't do. It can't make connection. It can't read the subtle tension between a bride and her mom. It can't crack a joke that relaxes the teenager before that senior shoot portrait session you do. It can't feel the energy in the room. I don't care how much you type into it. It doesn't. Who can? You. Yeah, you. AI isn't bad. There is bad parts of it. 100% there are bad parts of it. But in the long haul, it's going to do us some good. Now, AI doesn't care about consent, but you do. You know how much you can use AI in your imagery. You know, for me, I don't do too much. I don't make it create in scenes that weren't there. I'm not hating on people who do, but I have a funny, I also have this weird thing about AI taking other creative people's work to create other work and people selling that or creating it as, oh, it's all mine. Well, it's clearly been scalped from other people. You have the opportunity to choose where you use AI. Now, you know if a shot is appropriate or exploitative, and AI just executes prompts, and that is what matters in this industry, consent. And we all know about this. I don't know how else to say this to you. AI doesn't have a personality behind it that goes, was that consensual? Whereas you have a conscience. AI generated images are based on data and your work is based on life. It literally doesn't watch your client. I mean, you know that bit where the client maybe putting on grandma's dress or is hugging grandma, whether it doesn't look at that. It doesn't get the nuances of that. You do though, and you did. Okay, it doesn't have an ethos. It doesn't care about mental health, body image, representation. It cares about whatever's put into it, typed in, the prompts. It cares that it generates based on those prompts. Okay, you choose to care and clients will feel that difference. And I mean, I'm not saying that AI can't be used. I use AI, but smart photographers do, okay? Smart photographers are the ones who aren't just surviving, but they're thriving. And there are ways in which I don't want to spend hours editing. I really don't. Some people love it, but my business model, I don't want to do it like that. So yes, you can use AI to cull images faster. There's tools like Aftershoot where you can shoot like 1,000 wedding images in a few minutes and it will save you hours. I mean, that's the way to use it. You can use GBT, is it? Yeah. To write SEO rich blog posts. Yes, you still have to write the ideas, still go in and check it all and change it all and make sure it still flows with your ebb and whatever you like. But the robot can help you get there faster. Okay. And you know what? It's as good as the prompts you put in. You can use AI to brainstorm shoot concepts, for God's sake. You can use prompts and tools like Midjourney to create visuals for style shoots and then go and shoot those with a client. You can use retouching like I do for retouch for me, which I use to stay consistent without being burnt out with all this editing. I can edit, what is it? I did 100, no, I'm lying. It was 102 headshots. I did all the culling myself. I don't have a color AI yet. If you want to send me one, I would love one. And I sat there and I was like, hey, I can churn this out. I can do this. And I had it. I knew what they wanted, a very minimal retouch. And I was like, yep, done it. And what I love about my retouch for me, and this is not a plug, although I am, I do have a affiliate code if you want it, but go find that. I'm not going to direct you to that because there are many people that do this. I was able to load them into my computer and then just set it and it will batch retouch them. And yes, I check them and sometimes I'll go back in and retouch if I need to. But for the most part, the heavy lifting is pretty much done for me and I'm doing the finite detail. It still has me on it. I still set the parameters that I want. I set it to look like the work I do and I love it. And if you want, I can show on my Instagram a before and after so you can see it. I'll maybe do that as a reel for you guys. But here's the key. AI is an assistance, not a replacement. Think of it as like outsourcing, but it's cheaper, I dare say, and faster. And you use it to buy back your time, not replace your craft. I know there's fear mongering. Like I've seen it, the headshot, the one where people are like, here's a headshot and I can make you look like a professional headshot and you can use it for your LinkedIn. I have seen those. They look lovely, except they're retouched and they don't look like you. No one recognizes that office. And dare I say, I've seen them rejected for ID photos because you don't look like that. People put them up, they're like, that's not kind of what you look like. Almost like you look like a computer generated image because you are of you. You've seen, like, it's not doing headshot people out of business because people are doing those and your business is like, okay, that's great. But now we need to replicate that for everybody. And suddenly AI can't do that. Or people don't like what it's presenting. It's changing how they look. So people, I'm not worried about these AI photo generators. I'm just really not, because I recognize them as AI and people will. I think what's happening is we're getting saturated with the AI market and people are calling it out. I'm seeing reputable sources using AI and then it's dropping out and people are calling them out and it's getting negative press and they're like, oh. And I kind of look at like using completely AI generated images, similar to when people use stock images on their website. People spot it and it makes you look tacky. I'm going to say it makes you look nasty. I don't think that's the term, but yeah. AI isn't a thing that's threatening your business, but your avoidance of using it is. You're not showing up because you don't want to be on video. You're not showing up because your work isn't good enough. You're not showing up because you're not techy enough. You're worried about like how you're presenting your work. And I think that's where you're losing yourself, because AI is a tool, but you're like, oh, no, wait, no, Khandie, I hate AI. But then you're not trying to keep yourself ahead of that and being the photographer that people think about. Like, you're going mad about the fact AI is going to destroy your business, but are you showing up for your business in the first place? Because if AI is going to destroy your business, I'd be like, did you have a strong business to begin with? Because it's just a tool. Okay. And what happens is the world moves on without you if you sit in this place of fear. Photographers winning right now aren't the most talented. Hey, me, I'm going to say I'm winning. We're not the most talented. We're the ones who have adapted. We show our faces. We put a voice on a brand. We don't care. You don't need to master AI. You just use it. Why would I want to spend, and I'm talking to you photographers, why would I want to spend 2 hours retouching a portrait that AI could do a lot of it for me in a few moments? And then I can carry on spending the retouch tweaks and meeks and whatever I want to do. But why would I spend those hours to get the same result? Like, what is so scary about technology? I mean, you've used technology. I shoot film and digital, right? Why do you think that 35 mil were like, oh my God, no one's ever going to use this ever again? And yes, there was a slump because everybody does, but the film industry is taking off. Film industry has a whole film, 35 mil, 120 film, whatever you shoot. People, they're still thriving, still doing their thing. And in fact, I absolutely love it. It slows down. It makes us feel more connected. Digital, I love it, but they have two different markets. You shouldn't be afraid because something new comes along. It isn't taking away from you. It's giving you another opportunity, another avenue to use. Okay. But if you start ignoring it and pretending that, it's the doom and gloom, I'm not sure how you're gonna survive. Now, that's not to say there aren't some ethics with AI, and I touched on these before, and loads of people spoke about these at great length. I think it's absolutely atrocious for me personally, my personal opinion, when people create a whole fake scenario, like nothing in there's true that they've captured, and then they try and pass it off as professional photography. I think that's disgusting. Ethically, you are immoral and you need to bugger off, right? I get it. But using AI to enhance your image, I don't think is terrible. I think AI, if you're using skin retouch, perfect. If you're using AI to, I don't know, cull images, like I said, great. Give yourself back the time. But if you are creating a whole portfolio based on a computer algorithm and then calling yourself a photographer, I'm going to have a few issues with that. Okay. You could be a digital creative artist, whatever you want to do, knock it out of the park, do your own thing, but don't sit there and claim you're a photographer. Okay. I see many people in a lot of these Facebook groups, and I'm always going back to these Facebook groups because careful, you never know if I'm not looking in your group. Calling about AI and saying, "Oh my God, that's an AI image." And you're like, "Yeah, why are you in a photography group posting this?" And they're like, "Oh," and they get really annoyed when people talk about it. Mate, just own it. If it's all AI, just own it and just don't come to a photography group with it. I don't think AI is as terrible as everyone makes it out to be. I think there is, as any new development happens, there are an area of grey where people perhaps behave unethically, and that's your own moral compass you have. I think there are people who necessarily don't. They absolutely. I'm never going to embrace it. Blah blah. But AI's existed in so many places already. Like your autocorrect on your typing on your text messages, that's a form of AI because it preempts what you're going to write. Like you've been using AI, like it kind of just because it's in photography, it's bad. I mean, I understand where you want to use it. I use it in a way that benefits me to give me my time back. I do not use it to create work that I haven't done. Okay, so you know. I think we need to be very careful when we rule out against AI. And I think there's a lot of scaremongering going on about AI. And yes, like with everything, there's unethical things, like there is with photo editing in itself. People edit themselves to the nth degree and don't look like that. Like, I honestly, I get you, boo. I see you, but you kind of got to stop with the doom and gloom on AI because it's here to stay. It is here to stay. AI might get her at pixels and editing, but what won't change is you if you refuse to. You can keep hiding, playing it small, but if your brand and what you shoot isn't standing out, maybe AI will take your job because people will be like, no, I want to go to this photographer. I'm not saying that it will erase you, but you need to think more about how you embrace it. I don't believe in going, nope, I'm never using it. Now, if you're obviously a 35mm photographer and you're staying in the digital analog world, the likelihood of you using AI is nil point. But as a digital photographer, for you all to be like, oh my God, AI is taking our jobs. Yeah, AI photography. I'm not talking about AI in voiceover work because, honey, I know it's been some dodgy things have been happening with people's voices, and even in the video world where people have done deep fakes, and yeah, it all gets a bit nasty. That's what I'm talking about, the ethical grayness, and the black zone and the evil zone. I don't know. You have like gray, you must have white. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yes, I'm with you on that. I agree that there is some terrible uses of AI, but in photography, it can really give you back that time, which cuts down your cost of doing business probably, which saves you money, which means you can live more and spend less time working. I don't know. Is that a terrible thing? I don't know. Let's discuss. Maybe I'm being too flippant with it. I would love to hear from you guys. So if you're worried about AI and you're like, oh, Khandie, it's all doom and gloom, talk to me about it. Hi, this has been The Loud Lens. I'm going to sign out now. This is a short episode that I've released early for you because it was just brought up. I'm not afraid to say what I think, but I'm also open for education. So maybe there's a thing about AI you want to talk about. So give me a bell, drop some messages. Let's talk about it. Let's get a discussion. But for now, this has been The Loud Lens, and I'll catch you all in my next episode.